Oh, guys, we're going to talk about SIG some more. We're going to go through your comments. So many interesting comments on the current SIG situation. And there's more and more information coming every day. Protraband, for example, just dug up an interesting thing, a patent application. It's for the 320, looks like a new SEER trigger system, just a couple of part changes for the SIG 320, right? And the the patent, what it's for is the primer of a loaded round already positioned in the barrel of firearm. In this way, the prior so the prior design is incomplete and unsafe, as evidenced by multiple whatever. I'm reading from the patent application. So it's alleging the old 320 design is unsafe, and this new design for these parts is now safer and better, and it's got parts schematics and all that. It's a patent application, right? The interesting thing is it we think, or it looks like it's coming from a guy that used to work at SIG, according to his LinkedIn anyway, if that's the same guy, which it looks like the same guy. So it's like you have a situation here where a guy that was this engineer at SIG is now filed a patent application to fix the SIG 320. At least that's what it looks like. It's great. Like every day is something new around here. So we'll see what details emerge with that. But Protraband, man, that guy's on it. He's always finding all this stuff. Anyway, let's get to your SIG comments because again, there's so much happening. All right. Honestly, I feel bad for competitive shooters who use 320s casually or non-professionally. My USPSA range banned it, and this was the first match since that. Two guys in my squad were using loaner guns, and we're talking about not being able to afford entirely new setups, especially since not being able to sell the gun without a major loss. Yeah, and I don't think it's not like those individuals did anything wrong. They're caught in the middle, really. All right, been anticipating this video for days. Where you been? I was training. I was taking a few days to myself, practicing, shooting a lot, having a nice time. All right, next one. Wherever I'm going, I'll be there to apply the formula. I'll keep the secret intact. It's simple arithmetic. It's a story problem. If a new car built by my company leaves Chicago, like, okay, yes. The old Fight Club quote. A lot of people applying the Fight Club formula meme to the SIG situation. It sure seems to fit. All right. The moderators on various SIG forums are fighting for their lives right now. It's a pretty good comment. That's what I hear. I've heard that they're getting pretty hell, there was one SIG Facebook group where somebody sent me a screen cap where the moderator was saying I was banned from their group for cause on Facebook. And it's like, I don't post on Facebook. Like, what do you like they're saying they kicked me out of their group. Yeah, it's these SIG groups, some of them online, they seem like nuts. Um, yeah, so they're not doing too well right now, I don't think. All right, here we go. Coming from an active duty criminal investigator, any negligent discharge is going to be a criminal investigation as it is a Title 10 violation under UCMJ. Any installation non-medically attended death also requires criminal investigation per DOD policies. Typically, there's also an administrative non-criminal investigation conducted by a third party. They're not mutually exclusive. All right, yeah, so this guy's what he's pointing out is that the scuttlebutt we're hearing that, hey, this is a criminal investigation for the Air Force SIG 320 death, whatever that situation was. Well, if there's a death under circumstances like that, it's going to be criminal anyway. So maybe that's not really giving us any real information. Hey Ben, got a Defender XL to replace my 507 comp. Well, wouldn't work out of the box. Spent an hour messing with it. Got it to work by pulling the battery prongs up. Dry fired. Turned off and on. Gave it a good slide rack and it died. Yeah, if you've got an issue with the Vortex, it's almost certainly going to be the battery contacts. There has been QC issues with that for sure. All right. This SIG 320 is bad for the whole 2A community and gives the anti-gun community a lot of ammo. Ron Cohen is to blame. What about Phil Strader and the rape accusation? SIG sure has a crazy amount of problems. Like I don't think those accusations are true, like at all. I was pretty close to like contemporaneously. That stuff coming from the former USPSA executive director. Like I think she's a pathological liar. She made accusations against a few people, I think. So like I wouldn't I think signal boosting that makes you look ignorant or dumb or something. It's just I don't think it's real. As far as SIG hurting the whole 2A community, yeah. It's not a good look, is it? Um as much some of you aren't going to be happy to hear this, referring to the probability that a holster gun on a table went bang. As much as the bloodlust for SIG's demise is entertaining, we should all be happy that guns aren't going off holstered while resting on tables. Okay, feel free to continue the frenzy. PSA over. Like I think we don't know what happened. Like the story we heard initially is the gun was, set on table and went off. That may be what happened. It's just the point is I don't know, and I'm hearing conflicting stories a little bit from other people. Regarding the airmen, I'd rather the truth come out more than anything else. Accident or otherwise, the truth is the most important thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, his family should know what the fuck happened. Like, what happened? All right, if the story changes, how am I supposed to not believe that backroom deals are taking place? This is do or die for SIG and problematic for the Air Force. Yeah, well, no, that's a good point. I think they're like, with how these circumstances have unfolded, people aren't going to trust the outcome. And to be honest, nor should they really. They shouldn't. And so you look at maybe like a lot of people have questions about the handgun trials where the SIG was selected, and there's oh that was inappropriate or wrong, or it was the fix was in for the SIG and stuff like that. Like those questions are going to be there. People are like, and because of the things that have already happened, they're not going to trust SIG a whole lot. I mean, they're probably not going to trust the Air Force a whole lot. All right. They got to Ben. Now he's questioning the narrative. Blink twice if you're in danger, bro. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. I just think it's a little bit ironic. Well, what's a good way of putting it? Right now, at this moment, if you ask me, I think the SIG is getting banned a lot of places because the SIG is getting banned. Right? It's not like the Air Force incident itself put all these places over the top. Like they don't really know details. They just heard, they heard that happened. They heard there was a death and it's attributed to 320. But it's not like it's the first time there's been a story like that, or that, there's other stuff where there's, maybe really compelling video or other things like that. It's just, as far as I'm concerned right now, like people are banning the 320 because it's like the bans have started. So people kind of look around, they're like, oh, everyone's banning it. Like, and they all just jump in and ban it. You could have done that a month ago, and I think the actual facts available to you wouldn't have been a whole lot different. There would be a bunch of sketchy video out there. There would be reports of incidents, and that this is just one more report of an incident. It's just interesting the way that it works. Like in the end, the SIG is getting banned because the SIG is getting banned at this point. All right, I just spent $3K to change from the P320X5 Legion, which I've used and competed with for over 5 years, to a Young Park Special, the PDP match steel frame. 2 trainers in 2 weeks have said, don't bring the 320. What am I to do? I think changing guns was prudent. That was a good thing to do. All right, I was having bed withdrawals. Well, I'm a little bit sorry. I'll try to be around more. Dude should be allowed to take a week off and not be declared MIA. Well, it's the internet, so that's not going to work. All right, people doing the trigger screw thing, I think is confusing people. The SIG will go off if pulled to the wall and shaking the slide, but it's going off in holsters too, which means it's not coming back off the wall if you draw and you don't shoot, releasing the trigger to reholster. They're not videos of Glocks or whatever. These clowns are saying, no, all of them are unsafe. Yeah, I don't really know what you're talking about, but I think that putting the trigger, like moving the trigger to the rear very slightly with the SIG and holding it there with the screw, I think the point, I mean, what you're taking away from that test is that like if something breaks or is not working right, Like I think it's that easy to disable the sear safety or whatever that thing is. I think that's what the takeaway is from that. It's not like I don't think people think the trigger's moving a millimeter and then the gun's going off in the holster, at least not in most cases. All right, Ben mentioning Charlie was not on my bingo card for 2025. Okay, well, fair enough, but Charlie doing a whole video on the SIG 320 was not on my 2025 bingo card. So it seemed worth a mention to me. Um, the case was covered by Runkle of the Bailey, a firearms lawyer on YouTube. The cop had the gun out of the holster, tucked in his pants, and shot him in the junk. SIG proved the cop knew the gun was defective and tucked in his pants. SIG screwed themselves to win. Yeah, that's what I heard. Is that the guy was like Mexican carrying it? I mean, that's a pretty heavy lift. If there's a discharge when you have it just stuffed into your belt, that'd be a pretty heavy lift to convince a jury that it's the gun's fault because that's not exactly like best practices way to carry a gun, you know? All right, another comment. I was magically unsubscribed to you. Well, you know, that's bound to happen on YouTube. I'm not the sort of person that you should probably be talking to. You probably need someone more wholesome. At least that's what they think. I'm tired of these pro shooter guys telling me what I should or shouldn't use. My P320 is the gun I trust to appendix carry. Under normal circumstances, EDCing level 4 cock and ball armor, I feel perfectly safe trusting my incredible SIG pistol. That's good. All right, let's wait and see what happens, says you, as if someone didn't just die from an uncommanded discharge by a P320. Are you serious? How many more NDs do you need, Ben? How many more court filings, police body cam videos, and officer statements before you pull your head out of the sand? You want to wait and see well documented, verified, and repeated failures continue piling up? Let me ask you straight. Why aren't Glocks going off in holsters like the P320? Why aren't LEOs across the country issuing internal memos about Glocks? Why isn't Glock settling lawsuits for negligent discharges with sealed agreements? This isn't a coin toss, Ben. It's a pattern. And this time, someone lost his life. Your wait and see nonsense spits in the face of every victim and every department forced to scramble for answers. Either wake up or step aside, because this level of willful ignorance is disgraceful. Okay, I mean that's kind of it's an interesting comment. You probably are new here. Um, yeah, yes, I think the SIGs are problematic and have been for a while. And there's all sorts of incidents and all sorts of video and there's all sorts of that stuff that you can look at and be like, you could make the determination that there's probably something wrong with the gun. As I have made that determination, like I think that and have thought that for a while. The Air Force incident itself, which ironically is the catalyst for a lot of the things happening now, like we don't know the details of that particular case. So it's, yeah, I don't know what happened there. We're being told it's gun related. We see that the Air Force put out the memo, suspending the use of the 320 for a little bit. Okay, like maybe we'll find out more about that particular case. We will find out more. As far as the totality of what's happening, yeah, I agree with you. Like we can look at that, the stuff that's already out there and be like, make a determination. Yeah, I think something's wrong with the guns, or I don't really believe what I'm hearing from SIG. That kind of stuff. Absolutely. All right, guys. Good comments. It was a good comment read. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens in the future with this because it continues to entertain. It sure does.